Okay, well, I hope you guys are having an awesome Christmas week so far. I'm very excited. So we are doing something a little bit different today. As you can see, I'm not in my normal real estate attire in the office. We are inside of my kitchen cooking, and I have a special guest, Candace Sheppard, who is helping me cook today. So we've been cooking since early this morning, right, Candace? We have been slaving hard. What all have we made so far today? Do you remember some of the desserts that we made? They were chocolate desserts, right? Yes. So we made a whole bunch of goodies, but I wanted to include you guys in on a recipe. This is actually my favorite recipe. It's 7-layer bars, and they are so incredibly easy to make. Is probably another reason why I love them, but so easy to make, and they taste absolutely delicious. So, Candace, when we cook together, what is the very first thing we have to do?
Wash our hands.
Wash your hands. That's right. So we've already got our clean hands, right? And now we are going to go ahead and start on our recipe. So first thing you're going to do is you are going to take a stick of butter, half a cup, and melt it. I just have it in a little glass dish here. You're going to melt it just like this. And Candace, I'm going to have you dump this over the bottom for me. And you're just going to pour it in the bottom of a pan. I've got a 9x13 pan. You can just pour it all out. I've got a 9x13 glass dish here. It does need to be a dish that you can put in the oven, of course. And you're gonna just pour that butter. Oh, careful, babe. You're gonna pour that butter all over it. Are you good? Mm-hmm. Awesome, okay. You're like a pro at this, right? So you should have that at the very bottom of your dish, and this is gonna make the crust. Then you're gonna take your graham cracker crumbs, which I have in this bowl. Candace, can you do the same exact thing? You're just gonna put it all over the bottom for me. So you're gonna take your graham cracker crumbs, put them all over the bottom. You're gonna want enough just to coat the bottom of the pan. Like a cup, a little over the cup. I think I've got like a cup and a half here. Now I use, Candace, we're gonna kind of mix it all together. So you're gonna mix the butter in with the graham cracker crumbs. Again, you're making a crust. You'll start to see it gets like this pasty texture. And once it gets that, you're just gonna rub it all over the way. It's an even layer over the very bottom. So Candace, I'm gonna have you do that while we go on to the next thing. Now, as far as the graham cracker crumbs, I'm cheating right now. I just have graham cracker crumbs, just, you can buy them in a box. Personally, I don't suggest to do this. I love doing it myself. So I take graham cracker crumbs, I crunch them all up, throw them in a Ziploc bag, crunch them all up. It tastes so much better to me. And you can even see when you pour these graham cracker crumbs, it doesn't look, it doesn't look near as appetizing as actual graham crackers. Maybe it's not as fresh, I don't know, but I just feel like it's not as tasteful. So, however, I did just use the crumbs for now, just to make it a little bit more simple. So we are already kind of getting a paste here. And if you don't have enough butter, you can always add more, but this is not something that is, very strong in the liquid. You're just gonna have to keep mixing it in. And you're just gonna keep mixing it in, and then you're gonna rub it all over the bottom. Candace, you did such a good job of this. Good job, okay. So once you get that all mixed in, you're gonna rub that over the very bottom. Sometimes what I will do just to make that process a little bit faster is I'll just kind of shake my pan until it kind of goes over everything, which really did not work out very well. But normally that works a little better, and then I'll just kind of pat it down. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a crust that you want over everything. So you definitely don't want to see the glass on the bottom at all, but if some areas are maybe a little thicker than other areas, it's not the end of the world. So I'm gonna do this. Oh no, you can see the glass. That's not good. Okay, Candace, you did a very good job. Okay, the next part is Candace's favorite part because, well, actually it's not the next part, it's your favorite, I'm sorry. But you like it all, don't you? Okay, so this is like a really even layer. I'm gonna show you guys, that way you can hopefully see what we've got going on here. But this is a really even layer, and it's just a crust over the bottom. So super simple, quick crust. And what you're gonna do now is take 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. You just buy it at the grocery store, simple enough, pop the can off, and then you're gonna pour this all across it as well. And again, another even layer. Candace, do you want the honors? So you're gonna pour it all over the top here. Candace is an amazing helper in the kitchen. She was very excited to help me today, weren't she, all? Okay, So this is just gonna be another layer. This is kind of like the filling. And you're gonna put this all over the top. Again, just even it out. I just have a small spatula that I was using for the crust. So take a little spatula, even it out. It's pretty simple. Okay, let me grab this. You're probably gonna need to grab a spatula and to get into this can, because otherwise you will end up wasting a whole bunch. So we'll get in there for this can, throw that can away, and then you're just gonna go like this right here. Now you gotta be a little bit careful. I think I'm gonna do this part, Candace, because you gotta be a little bit careful here. So when you are, the sweetened condensed milk, you're just gonna kind of go like, play around with your pan until it covers it. Reason being, if you take a spatula for this, the spatula works great for the crust. If you take a spatula for this, sometimes the crust will stick to it, and then you're gonna get your crust in with your sweetened condensed milk, which isn't the end of the world, but it's not perfect either. So, perfect. So now what you're gonna do is take pretty much all your favorite ingredients and throw them in here. We have a combination. This is a popular combination. I love this combination. That's what we're gonna go with today. But if you love pecans or white chocolate or a butterscotch, whatever you love, you can just kind of throw them in here. We're gonna start with a coconut layer. Ah! Anyway, we're gonna start with a coconut layer. And Candace doesn't love coconut, but I love coconut, so we'll start with coconut. Do you want to dump this all over the top and just kind of make an even layer for me? Thank you so much. You are doing so good. I made more of a mess than you did. But so I just measured these out in glass bowls beforehand. And you know, coconut is the first one I do, so I want to have a little bit more of that. And since you have nice clean hands, you can just kind of move it around in the dish. Then I do chocolate, and this is semi-sweet chocolate. I'm a dark chocolate person, so I would never put milk chocolate, but if you like milk chocolate, you could do that. You could do straight dark. Semi-sweet works for me. I'm gonna try not to spill it this time. Oh no. So then after that coconut layer, it's looking really, really delicious already. You can kind of see there. So then we're gonna take chocolate chips. I do more of this just because everyone seems to like chocolate. So this is probably like a cup and a half, I would say, of chocolate. But again, you can just take it from the bag and dump it on here until it looks like a good amount. So you're gonna do the exact same thing. If you can just dump that over the top. So it's called 7 layers. It's okay, it's okay. Just go ahead and dump it out. It's 7 layers, and this is why, because everything's just kind of layered on. So it looks like you got a little heavy on this end, but yeah, we'll just kind of smooth that. Now just want to be really gentle, because otherwise you're gonna push them into the rest of the dessert. So we gotta get a little more chocolate. You wanna make sure it's level, all even in there. Okay, that looks good, that looks good. Okay. And last but not least, we do butterscotch, which is very popular too. Another one I've tried that was really good is caramel chips. I would not suggest mixing the butterscotch with the caramel. They're very different flavors, and I didn't really like, you know, how they went together. So this one I'm doing butterscotch, but I did really like last year we did caramel, and that was really delicious. So I would suggest to try that. Also, I've put pecans in it before. That was awesome. And I mean, anything else you guys try, you should let me know. I'd love to hear how it went. Those are the 2 at the top of my head I can remember that I've put into this, and everyone seems to have loved it. If you're a peanut butter lover, that's another idea. So Candace, this one, can you just kind of like gently, we're gonna go over like that. Just like that. So you wanna make sure it's all nice and even. That way no one gets just a big bite of just butterscotch. So kind of even that out there. And this is the last ingredient that we're gonna put on it. So, I mean, that took us, what, like 5 minutes. It's not a long process. Set your oven to 350, and I always set my oven right before I start cooking if I know it's only gonna take me like 10 minutes, because then by the time you're completely finished, you can just plop it right in the oven, and it doesn't have to wait for anything. So we are all set to go. Now, Candace, what, you remember how I told you how to be a good cook? Do you remember the secret? How to be a good cook? Should we tell them? Or is it a secret? Should we tell them? So my grandmother always told us growing up the secret to being a good cook. And I always tell Candace when we cook, so we'll let you guys know. So Candace, what is the secret to being a good cook? Do you remember?
Crack an egg with one hand?
Yes, it is! I don't know if you said it loud enough. Say it a little louder so they can hear you.
Crack an egg with one hand.
So you have to crack an egg with one hand. That's the secret to being a good cook, according to my grandmother. Do you want to try? Oh, come on now. You just told me a minute ago that you could do it. Just a minute ago, she told me, oh, I'm a good cook. I can crack an egg with one hand. So why don't you show us? Am I calling you on your bluff? Well, I have an egg right here. You want to try? Why don't you just try?
No.
Okay, well, if you crack an egg with one hand, that means you're a good cook apparently. So anyway, so you're gonna put this in the oven. It's gonna be about 30 minutes. I just check it when it looks like everything's melted and put together. Oh, okay, let's see. I'm gonna crack an egg with one hand. We'll see if I can do it. So as you guys know, just this week I posted, we just went live with our Facebook page for the business. So if you haven't already, I would love if you go and like the page. That way you can follow us on there. This is just my personal business page, but this is my personal Facebook page. But if you go like it on the business, I'll actually put it below in the comments. That way you can follow us on there. And we just went live. I'm talking like maybe 2 days ago we went live with that page. So super exciting. Okay, so here's the deal. If I crack an egg, you have to crack an egg. I'm going to try to crack it with one hand, and if I do, that means I'm a good cook. So let's try it. Okay, ready? Oh, don't crack it already. Okay, let's see if I can do it. Boom, got it.
Actually, I'm gonna do it.
There we go. Okay, now you have to try. Okay. Okay, let's see you. Well, technically you did get it. But here, let's put all of them in there. Oh goodness. Well, I don't think we're gonna use that egg, but you're still a good cook because you did technically crack it with one hand. I guess it should be if you crack it with one hand and don't get shells everywhere, right? We will post a picture when we will post a picture when this is done. It tastes absolutely delicious. I highly suggest to try it. Otherwise, you guys have an amazing week and have a Merry, Merry Christmas. Say bye, Candace.